Hi friends, welcome back. So, Nvidia earnings crashed the stock market. I'm going to go over that and a couple of the headlines, and let's just jump right in. So here, Nvidia faces stiff test on Wall Street this week after parabolic stock rally. And if you've been paying attention to the markets this past year, up 236%. And in fact, we have some members in the community who've been in Nvidia for several years and are probably singing praises to Jensen Huang and the Nvidia team every day. Congrats. Will it continue? So earnings are tomorrow, as I mentioned, and in fact, there was a bit of a pullback today, so down about 4%, another percent, and a half, so 6% today, and this is right before earnings. So there's a little bit of hesitancy going into this. However, the money is still flowing, and I'm mentioning Bitcoin here. You can see Bitcoin is at 52,000. I personally did not expect this, and I know we always have fights in the comments over this one, but guys, I'm just not into it. However, I always tell you the truth. Yes, the chart looks good in terms of if you got in, early this year and you're at 52,000. Yeah, I mean you're up quite big. So congrats to you. What we'll see tomorrow's going to be big. Earnings date for Nvidia, and moreover, the markets were a bit mixed. If you take a look at this, however, mostly down. So the reason why I show you both these things because you want to look at which companies are going up and down, and then also to which sectors. So most sectors were down, staples were up, everything else was down. Treasury yields at the moment, the 2-year is at 4.61, the 10 years at 4.27. We're still facing inversion, and moreover, we got some really, really wild headlines. I could have made a completely separate video on this subject. I'll read it. This is crazy. U.S. tells allies Russia may launch anti-satellite nuclear weapon into space this year. And yes, you heard that correctly. Some sort of anti-satellite nuclear weapon into space. The basic gist of it is, so I guess we're not talking about putting a nuclear weapon to target the land or people per se. It's mostly just to blow up all the other satellites in space. And then that would essentially fry everyone's communications and all sorts of stuff. Not good, of course. Putin and Russia, of course, deny these things. The USA is saying, don't trust these people. I mean, let's just say I don't trust anything that Russia says or Putin. So, I'll go with U.S. intel on this one. If U.S. is saying, hey, Russia's up to something, they might be. Now, it hasn't happened yet. And, I think this is sort of why you leak the cat out of the bag, essentially, and try to stop them from doing said thing. Because even if their intentions are only, hey, we want to be defensive, etc., just putting any kind of nuclear weapons in space, not so great. I'm sure you guys know these kind of things. Going back to the markets, I just had to bring this up. I thought it was a big story. But going back to the markets, we have another wild story regarding insider trading. And we call this shadow insider trading. Here's the gist. Let's say I have information at said biotech company, insider information, right? It's not publicly disclosed. I know kind of, what we're doing with our cancer drug, etc. Say we know that we're going to fail. So what I start doing is buying options / stock in other companies. That's why it's shadow insider trading. So I'm not buying, stock or options in my company, even though I have insider trading for that or insider info for that. I'm buying it into others. And so think of all the ramifications of this kind of stuff in all kind of industries and how difficult this would be to enforce. This is what we're facing right now, and I don't know how this is going to play out. I mean, I think this is really an interesting one, and moreover, I think this kind of stuff goes on quite frequently because again, the issue is I have knowledge, right? That's not available to the public, but I'm not necessarily benefiting from buying my company. I'm buying other companies and other options, etc. So crazy stuff going on with that. Love to hear your thoughts on that one. It's nuts. I just think it'd be so hard to enforce. But any of this stuff is hard to enforce, right? Because it's just so much. Moreover, I could spend a long time talking about that, but it's been a wild day in the news. This is an interesting one. So I did mention this before, but I did see it. There's going to be a new sports streaming service. It was Warner Brothers, ESPN. I think there was, Fox is in there as well. So they were going to make a new, streaming thing. And then evidently Fubo TV is suing, saying, yo, not cool. And we'll see. I honestly think they have a case. And I hadn't thought that. I just forgot about Fubo entirely. I've never used the service myself. I'd be curious if any of you out there use Fubo. Now, personal opinion on any of this kind of stuff is competition is good for the market, and you don't necessarily just want everyone consolidating into just one company, one choice. It is a major problem in the USA, especially for like your cable choices or your internet choices. You just don't have that much of it. And you get crappy, I mean, you guys know this, you get crappy service and you pay too much in USA for these kind of things. So hopefully we can fix that. When I was there, and I don't work for Google or anything, I'm just telling you the truth. I had Google Fiber and I thought it was fantastic, and basically did everything on the internet, so I don't mess with this cable or stuff like that. I do understand though that sports is real money for these services, and we talked about recently where Netflix is buying like, was it WWE rights, so they're going to be getting into this game. I'm not sure if Netflix is doing NFL or NBA or something like that, or baseball. I know Amazon is in this stuff as well, so there's definitely competition here, and Fubo's like kind of seeing what's going on. I mean, they can see the writing on the wall that all their competitors are making their moves, and they're kind of the odd man out, so to speak. So I mean, I guess all they got left is to sue. We'll see. We had another big merger I just mentioned in another video. It was the Capital One buying Discover. So when they announce these kind of things, it's got to go through regulations, and like I said, we'll see. Going back to the Nvidia situation, this is really interesting. So Nvidia is now the most popular traded stock on the market, replacing Tesla, I guess. And you can see this here. So Nvidia is the green line. So I'll just kind of draw here. It's like kind of going up here, right? So in terms of volume of trades, and then I gotta draw the arrow there. When you do an arrow, okay, there we go. And then Tesla's been on the downward path, and then there's Apple. So these are the most popular ones. And will Nvidia maintain popularity? Again, earnings tomorrow. But it's not just Nvidia. Basically, everything that is AI related has been on the move. So this is an interesting chart. This is saying, okay, 4 out of every $10 of shares traded is like AI related. So the other kind of, I know these are all real companies, but I'll just say kind of meme action has been like your super microcomputer has been a real popular one. So it's Nvidia in that one. Coinbase is on the list too, which is really interesting. And one of the things that I've been talking about to you guys as well is where do we put Nvidia in terms of like valuable companies in the world? So in terms of market cap, Microsoft is number 1, around 3 trillion. Everything dropped today, so it's at 2.99 in particular, but it was above 3 just last time we looked at this. Apple number 2, Saudi Aramco number 3, Google number 4, Amazon number 5, and then Nvidia comes in at number 6, just ahead of Meta/Facebook. Now, Nvidia was ahead of both Alphabet and Amazon just a few days ago, but they really dropped. And again, we got earnings coming out tomorrow. A couple of analysts on Wall Street are already pumping this thing. This is Baird and Rosenblatt Securities. They're saying, hey, Nvidia's got 50-some% upside. Now, usually they'll wait till after earnings to come out with their new price targets, etc. So you be the judge of that. When you dig into the details of this stuff, we'll go through it here. It says, this has come from Bank of America. Nvidia's stock appreciation has been parabolic. And they say here in the rating, a buy rating, they say, we think one interpretation of this Nvidia move is a mix of, and this is funny, a mix of fear and greed and indiscriminate investor chase for all things AI. So I would agree with that. So I do think that, Nvidia's a real company. They make real chips. People will use this stuff. They may have good tech, but I mean, is it something that we're all going to be jumping in and investing in, heavily into? I guess for earnings tomorrow, we're expecting a 240% increase in revenue, which is unreal. I mean, how much longer can you grow? It's like nuts. So it's going to be 20.6 billion is what we're expecting. So keep an eye on that, see if they reach that. Other numbers that we're going to be looking for is their margins. So they're saying here, third quarter, the margins went from to 74 from 53, which is insane margins. And for this kind of company, it's not like software where, software margin can be really high. They physically make things. So can they maintain that kind of stuff? Now, we saw this stuff, this hype with Tesla before, where Tesla had great margins in the past. And then, just as they grew, it's been difficult for them. There's a couple ways you could look at it. One is, you have to have the labor costs. You also have the material costs. Moreover, like the more you do things, are you becoming more efficient at it? Increasing your margins that way. However, you always got to be innovating, right? R&D. So this kind of world moves very, very quickly, and you have competition. There's certainly debates on that, like how fast the other competition is going to come. And, you guys can share your thoughts and things on that, of those sort of things. I mean, because of the general, reason why NVIDIA's been going up like crazy is just because they look at competitors and they're like, NVIDIA is so far ahead. And if you're into AI, that's what you're in. And even Elon Musk was tweeting out, I showed you guys in a prior video, pictures of him and Jensen Huang. So he's even pumping up the stock. Who knows? So of course the question is, can this keep going? Let me take a look at this here. It says one potential concern is that many of NVIDIA's GPU sales are going to big tech companies such as Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, and Google. Any or all of them could decide to slow AI hardware spending at some point if they're not seeing intended benefits. Now, right now, of course, AI is all the hype, but you obviously want to get dollars in return to the spend. Now, NVIDIA will be happy to take your money from these big companies, and I don't know why in this particular article why Apple isn't mentioned, but I know that they're part of this game too, and they're going to be announcing their new generative AI, what do you want to call it, image stuff. Plus, we looked at before in another video where OpenAI is saying, hey, we're going to be doing like generative video, not just image, but generative video. In terms of like kind of more visualizing what to expect, this is earnings per share, the estimate and the reported. So blue, the dark blue that is their estimates, right? And then you have reported is your teal. So you can clearly see there's been growth this past year in terms of like what's going on. And I think, can it go parabolic forever? Again, the arrow I drew there didn't quite capture it correctly, but I think you get the point. It's just, it can't go parabolic forever. There's only so much money out there and only so many customers buying said things. Moreover, I want to point this out. It's related. Now, yes, Nvidia is part of games, but it's not like the biggest part. But I just want to mention that Sony's saying, hey, we're slowing down. And Nintendo also said, hey, we're slowing down. So again, that's not the core, but this is just recently that I noticed that. And yes, that is part of their business. So I think this all really is related to the AI hype. How much did Nvidia make? How much are they projecting? And are people going to keep buying said things, thinking that it's an arms race that they have to compete with the competitors? So tomorrow's going to be a big day, and we're going to see if Nvidia does indeed crash the market or send it higher. So I appreciate your time, and let's check out what happens tomorrow together. And please come on right back, and I'll catch you next video.